All right, welcome to Winning the Week. My name is Danica Bryce. I'm going to be your guide for our session today. In this class, I talked about last week that I was going to do this class, and this was inspired. Well, it's called Thinning for a Bigger, Sweeter Life, or maybe that's Pruning for a Bigger, Sweeter Life. And the concept of this was inspired. I was out in my garden and I was pruning, the smaller fruits, the less productive looking fruits, and a lot of the abundance of the fruits off of my peach and nectarine tree. So I haven't done this before, but I haven't necessarily gotten a great crop of peaches or nectarines. And so I read that that's sort of an important piece, is to thin them so that the tree can essentially produce sweeter, bigger, better fruits. You won't have as many, but you'll have the quality, right? Versus getting maybe 500 nectarines that are all small and not sweet, and really you don't get any when that happens, right? Which is what happened to us last year. So my point being, I was doing this and I was noticing all of these things coming up, like my resistance to pull these things off the tree that have potential, right? But not being able to really align with the fact that unless I do, I'm keeping from having that full potential and my biggest expression at all, right? Because trying to do it all doesn't allow us to do anything super, super well. And that, like, really, I was noticing the resistance I had to doing it, and I was noticing kind of the learning lesson in it all, and I was like, we need to do a class on this. So that's what our class is about today. It's all about looking at, what you dream of, as well as what is priority and what we can prune and what might be taking away from our ability to fully live that expression, and all that good stuff. So it's going to be a really fun class. Our quote comes today from Adam McHugh and says, "Sometimes the old parts of your life, even when they were good and essential in a past season, can become a hindrance to new growth. They must be removed to give space for the new version of yourself to flourish. Pruning will make the fruit of the next season that much sweeter, the wines of the new vintage deeper and richer. Death makes a way for life." So we're going to move in with this energy of what's next for us and what might be holding us back from fully expressing that. And we're going to start with a journaling exercise to kind of get ourselves warmed up. And it's called All I Dream Of. And the reason we're going to start with looking at what we dream of and just a big picture dream is because we need to know what we're moving towards, right? Like, what is it that we desire in life? And so I want you to start the session with this exercise. It's going to help us clarify all we dream of. And you're just going to free write about your vision for your future life. What do you dream of when you think about living the absolute most fulfilling life for you? Okay. Not much structure to this. I want you to just allow it to flow. So my example, I dream of long, and you can use the prompt, I dream of. That really helps, I think, if it helps you. So I said, I dream of long days outside in the sunshine with my family, growing and harvesting food, laughing and connecting. I dream of making things with my hands, recipes, writing, products, and more. I dream of a feeling of thriving in my physical body, mental clarity, lightness, vibrant health, a strong body. I dream of seeing the world and taking adventures with my loved ones to new cultures. I dream of helping others feel more ease and joy and to learn how to dream themselves, and so on. Okay, so what do you dream of? Like, what better way to start off a new week and a new day with just tuning into what you dream of? Okay, so free write, no right or wrong way to do this. Just let it come out. Okay, you can start wrapping that up. And if you want to share anything in the chat that you dream of, any little tidbits, I always love to read these sorts of things. In doing the exercise again just now, I feel like I had all different, not different stuff, like sort of built upon my example that I shared, which was kind of cool. I talked about, I dream of, debt-free living and financial freedom, of just always evolving and growing, living with purpose. What else? I want to be an expert gardener. Really just, lots of abundance. So if you want to share anything that you dream of, feel free to pop that in the chat. I'll continue on to, let me see. Sarah said, I dream of flexibility and freedom from obligation. Ooh, so good. The things in my life are big yeses, and I can move from space to space as my desire dictates. Love that. Love that. Beautiful. Okay, so the next part of this is asking ourselves, why aren't we living this today? And this is not like an opportunity to guilt or shame ourselves. It's just a moment of curiosity to say, like, hey, a lot of times these visions for ourselves are totally possible and totally acceptable, but we don't ever stop to say, hey, what's keeping me from doing that, right? So are you living this life to the fullest expression right now? Reflect on the reasons you feel you might not be. Allow yourself to simply free write and reflect. Okay, so my example, I said, while I think I live much of this reality, oftentimes the belief that money and sacrifice have to go together holds me back, or simply believing I don't have enough money to do something. I tend to believe that there is never enough time and can get caught up in the shoulds of what I think my life should look like. I often use food as comfort when I'm feeling overwhelmed and stressed, and the foods I eat can make me feel foggy and tired and less motivated. I often strive for perfection in things, and so on. So allow yourself to just kind of look back at this vision, and you can go through kind of each element of the vision and think about, why is that not necessarily true for me most of the time in my life right now? And just give yourself that time to reflect. Okay. Okay, and start wrapping up. And hopefully that gave you a little bit of clarity. We're going to kind of build upon this as we move forward with our exercises. So the next part we're going to do, the next exercise we're going to do is called What Fruits Matter the Most? Let me paste it. Oh, it doesn't. Let me see. What fruits matter the most? Okay, let me, I think I need to paste this in 2 chunks. Just give me 1 second here. So what we're going to look at here is the areas of life that are the most important to us right now, right? Because life evolves, right? And things change. So what fruit or areas of your life do you really want to focus on right now? Okay, these are the areas you want to experience at their fullest potential. So here's my examples. I had 4 when I really thought about this. I said my health. I want to prioritize eating well and getting stronger, as well as my mental health. I want to lift weights and read more, spend more time in the garden, eat in a way that makes me feel really good, and be mindful of what I'm allowing to take my time and energy. Okay. The second was my daughters and my partner. I want to be as present with them as possible. I want to reconnect with my partner and not just give him what's left of me after serving everyone else. I want time and space to think through experiences and activities to do with my daughters to help them grow. I want to read more parenting books and so on. And then I did Self-Care Society because I love you all and I want this to be place that lasts forever. And then I did debt-free living. Okay. So you're basically going to think about, okay, what are the categories? Maybe you have 2, 3, 4, and then just add a little bit of color to it. So you saw how I kind of specified a little bit, gave it a little bit more clarity. Okay. Health concept. Well, what does that mean to me? Okay. So a few categories, your ripest fruit. And so you can imagine that you're out there, you're pruning the peach tree, and these are the peaches that you really want to leave on the tree to allow to be their sweetest, biggest, most beautiful expression. Okay. That's what we're looking at right now. Like, what is the fruit we're leaving on the tree and we really want to nurture and grow? Okay. So what are those buckets for you? If you just want to share, and it could just be the categories, I would love to know what in your life right now are feeling like the fruit that deserves your nurturing, right? The thing that is going to be, that is most valuable to you. What are those buckets? So Karen says health, career, relationships, and finances. Beautiful, beautiful. What else? What is top of mind as you think about that fruit? And it really helps me to actually think like, oh, okay, like what would I really, what's on my tree, right? Like what am I willing to, um, what do I want to sacrifice so that these things can get more of me, more of my energy, more vibrancy? Ashley says health, financials, career, and my girls, pets. Amy says my creativity. I give myself permission to play freely. Ooh, I love that. Carmen says finances, health, home, and creativity. Beautiful. Really good. I love that you put home. Such a good one. I'm there with you too. That's part of mine. Pam says mental and physical health, my husband, time with grown children and grandchildren, and my time with God and Bible reading. Beautiful, Pam. Carrie says health, emotional, mental, and physical, connected relationships, and my home. The relationships is a huge one for me. Health is big, and continuing to create the abundant and cozy home I dream of. Oh yeah, we're still a lot of home stuff. That's like, it's awesome. I don't know. I didn't really think about it, but that's such a good one. Alexandra says health, creativity, finances, and my 16-year-old dog. Aw. Sarah says healing trauma, finding joy in motherhood, nourishing my creativity, and cultivating relationships and community. Ooh, yeah. Meg, building fruitful and flourishing friendships. Annie says, I was surprised that when I really thought about it, advancing my career right now didn't feel like an important fruit. I feel a lot of pressure to be expanding and building this empire while being home caring for my girls simultaneously. Like just to be with them isn't me working hard enough. Few societal pressure to do it all. Whew, you know how much I relate to everything you just said. 100%. Yeah. Yeah. Caring for children is a very beyond full-time job. But some reason we think that we are supposed to do a lot more on top of that. It's pretty wild. Maybe some of the moms with older kids can pass along some wisdom. All right, my friends. So let's move forward here. And now, of course, we are going to talk about pruning, right? So I want you to make a list of things that you could prune from your life, remove or limit, that would support you in moving closer to the life you dream of. So that would support you in allowing yourself to give more energy, more attention to these fruits that you just identified in the last exercise. Okay. So my examples for me, consuming social media, especially reading comments on things. It's just a waste of time. It brings a lot of drama into life. I feel like scrolling social media often keeps me from reading more and just being present in life. It gives too many other people the power to tell me how to live my life instead of taking time to really tune in and choose. The second thing I said was I could buy groceries instead of using, or buying groceries instead of using what we have, keeps me from some of this stuff that I desire, right? Debt-free living, being in the garden more, all of that, right? So buying groceries instead of using what we have, especially from the garden when possible. I get so much joy from harvesting and from clearing space and from saving money. So it's like a triple win by using what we have. And I could prune the feeling of guilt that I give to myself in many different ways, right? Whether that's feeling guilty to work out or to read or to work on my business when I feel like I should be watching my kids, and just reminding myself that my kids benefit the most from a happy and healthy parent, right? So just take a moment to think. And again, if it helps you to envision like, okay, I'm going up to the tree. I've left this home tree, this home fruit, and I've left this relationship fruit to be the biggest. And now it's my time to pluck away some of the things that are keeping me, that are pulling energy and time and attention from those things growing to their fullest. Okay. So it helps me to envision that. So if it does you, great. All right. Okay. Now, I'd love for you to share some of these. What came up as you thought about some things that you can prune, some things you can pull away, some things that are maybe keeping you from, or keeping these main fruits from expressing fully. Carrie says, for my health, I can prune resistance to exercise, or that only some things count. Ooh, so good. Prune perfection, prune comparison, pruning alcohol and sugar. Beautiful. Annie says, consuming to repress or avoid feeling it all. Yeah. Karen says, let's prune the fear. It bears no fruit. Yeah. Ashley, inconsistent sleep schedules, immediate spending. Anna says, pruning the limiting beliefs. Hell yeah. These are beautiful. It really makes you think. Like I think I had such a clear example last year. My peach tree did quite well, but my nectarine, I was so excited because there were so many blooms. And I was like, oh my God, this is our first like really abundant year. And we had all this fruit growing. And then when it was time to ripen, they all just kind of stayed like a little small and never ripened and started rotting and falling off the tree. And we left all of them on there. And I tried to have all of them form, right? And it took a little bit away from everything to the point where nothing really bloomed at all, right? Like it was it was so clear. So it's inspiring. So Ashley says, anxiety about a new career rather than curiosity. Ooh, I love that reframe. Beautiful. Okay, so our final exercise, and of course this class is called Winning the Week. And so I wanna always bring it back to practical and right now and what we can do. So knowing that moving in the direction of your dreams is done through small efforts every day, what might your week look like this week if you were to keep all this in mind? Okay, so you're gonna write a future journal entry from Friday evening, reflecting back on the week and how it went. And I want you to incorporate as much as you can from the previous 4 exercises, okay? So you're just gonna imagine it's Friday evening, maybe you sit down with your journal and you're just writing a reflection on this week. And you're really keeping in mind these points, right? These things that you said you might prune, these things you might invest your energy more into, okay? So example, I said, I feel better than I have in a long time. It started with my choice to start exercising again and to make more mindful food choices, eating in a way that feels good in my body and using food from the garden or our freezer. I had so much more energy and clarity and really got to be present with my loved ones. Many thanks to significantly limiting my social media consumption. I got so much done. I took time to plan activities and so on. You see, so you can see how I've woven in a lot of the things that came up in my examples into this vision of the week. And this is how we now bridge the gap between the big picture and the brainstorming and reflection and how it actually looks as we live out our life. A great life is just a series of great days. Okay, I've said it once, I'll say it again. This is just imagining that. Okay, so let's take a couple minutes here and then we'll wrap up. friends. We've come to the end of our time together on this class, but obviously take whatever time you need to finish whatever you want to do, to take this information and this clarity and weave it into whatever it is you use to stay accountable to these actions. So y'all know I'm an Asana fan. There is a workshop about how I use Asana and set it up and all of that. It's $25 in the courses if you're interested. But whatever you use in order to stay accountable to these things and take action, get it all geared up to support yourself this week. All right. I love you all. Thank you. I wish you abundant, sweet, juicy, big fruits. I'll keep you posted on how my nectarines and peaches do this season because I chose to prune. I am optimistic that it will be a beautiful result. So have an amazing day and a beautiful week. And I'll see y'all this Sunday in the strategy session. All right, friends. See you later. Bye.